This is Elena and this is Aaron, a happy loving couple that is a bit shy around each other, despite dating for like 3 years at this point already. If you ever watched this anime, then you know that whole couple dynamic, and it's gonna be right up your butt with the cuteness of watching two shy people do shy people things. Where even holding hands can be a bit too touchy. It's almost too wholesome and will disgust some. More than a moldy sandwich you have already bitten into and now it's too late not to swallow it. Fear not, if you hate happy couples, then I can calm you down because Elena gets cursed at a festival where she was supposed to sing and dance at, which puts a strain onto the little happy story, but I can't fault the curse. What's the point of cursing a handsome guy if you can just curse a cute girl? I would also prefer to possess a woman, probably. Depends on the kind of curse I would be. The game answers the modern question of, would you still love me if I were warm? To which I would say no, but a cute monster girl? Yes. The curse makes her turn her into a monster, unless you feed her flesh of the beasts that roam the towers. And then also the yummy yummy in my tummy meat of the big bosses. Now you might think, wow dude, how is that cannibalism? You baited me, but no, think about it. We humans are animals and we eat animals most of the time, just in different ways. It's the same with your enemies, no worries if that is not good enough for you, then I can tell you that these bosses were made from experiments on real humans. So whenever you feed her the good stuff, it was a part of a human once. No clickbait here, even if the game tries to tell you otherwise. Who would you rather believe? Please pick me instead of the game, please. So, you got cannibalism, but the thing is also, the people of this country don't even eat normal meat. A paradise for vegetarians and vegans, too bad the country is torn apart by war with others all the time. They worship the system called Eos, that has 12 gods that is all about nature and respecting it. If you ever paid attention in religion class or at Sunday church, you will now make the connection to Aeon, who is behind our very own zodiacs and all that. You know how many zodiac signs we have? Yep, also 12. Most people probably only know this name from the MMORPG or Xenoblade 2. I like religion in JRPGs. To survive, she now has to break that law, and what will happen to her? What are those little dreams she sees whenever she eats it? Will the curse really be lifted if you feed her the flesh from all 12 masters that were created by humans to try to make real gods? Will she get addicted to meat now and will continue to eat it even after? I personally think I could never eat meat again except for chicken and Met. As a German, I just can't say no to my biggest love, the Mettbrötchen. Yes, that is raw minced meat on a bun. Don't judge it till you try it. You don't see people laughing at sushi, but whenever I tell people I eat Mettbrötchen, they make fun of me for eating raw meat. It won't make you sick, I swear. Look at this Met Eagle. I think showing that makes people judge me even more. One of the biggest strengths of the game is how pathetic Elena is to a degree. I'm not even a macho man who is like, oh, I gotta have to defend my woman for everything because I don't even have one, but she makes me want to be one. I want to protect her. I want to make her happy. Look at her sliming all over the place if you don't feed her enough meat. It's cute, but at the same time you think to yourself, I have to fix this. Even though I don't even care. I think that she's even cuter this way. Maybe it's because I prefer the blue eyes. No, my second name is not Kaiba. I'm not a fake monster fucker. I have seen too many people say they would fuck Rachnera for Monster Musume, but hate real spiders. How does that work? Why would you want to fuck a spider girl but hate real spiders? That's not how it goes. Those are the fakers who would never dare to go that extra step. There's two things to watch out for when it comes to your girlfriend. Left, you can see the bond you have with her. There's many ways to get it up. Feeding her is one of them, but you can also give her other things if you feel like your meat is not up to par. Like some pots with flowers or flower seeds that she will plant and you can then watch the flowers together. You can give her stuff from the towers you find like diamonds or other shiny things, but those will be lost forever. Rather to see her smile. I don't need diamonds when seeing my happy girlfriend makes me as hard as one. But then there's also items you can buy from the old hag that are permanent changes in a way, because Elena will do her best to find a cozy spot for every carpet you buy her. If you gift her some leather, she will expand your inventory, or if you want to be super duper fancy, you can buy her different dresses that she will randomly wear. So every time you come home now, you can see her in something different, yay, depending on what she wants to wear. No, sadly there aren't any revealing outfits. I know you were hoping for that, you pervert. The deeper your bond grows, the more little cutscenes you will also get. If you don't like her, you can also just not care about her, and that's where the second meter comes into play. This little wheel shows you how much time you have left before it's over and she becomes a monster for real. But aren't us humans the real monsters actually? Yes, you are allowed to punch me for saying this. If you always leave her hanging and don't bring her some fresh McDonald's, I'm not sponsored, your relationship will sour. Till it's over because, well, you will get a game over if she transforms and there's no way back. So if you don't want to date, don't play this game. Depending on the flesh you bring to her, it fills up more or less, just like in real life. And those have timers too. If you wait too long, it dries out and then it's useless. Except if you want to sell it to the old lady and she's also pretty dried out probably. Sorry for calling her a hack before. I realized how disrespectful that was of me. This old lady is like a third wheel and she was the one picking you two up after the festival because she tells them she knows a way to fix this curse. Can you trust her? Maybe, maybe not. She also gives you the main weapon of the game, your chains, because they come from her tribe. I trust every old grandma I meet. She's also the merchant of the game, so you can buy stuff from her, you can upgrade your weapons at her, she does basically anything you would want out of a merchant. Pandora's Tower feels like a Zelda game you didn't know existed. If we take out the overworld and only include the dungeons. And not just on the surface. These are full fleshed out dungeons. I love flesh. It's the closest you can play to an old Zelda game, before Nintendo forgot how to make fun dungeons. If you are already jumping around in your room and are excited to play a classic Zelda experience, I have to sadly tell you a bit of bad news. You don't get dungeon items. So it's more like a third grade cousin, instead of being totally related to each other. I think that's the grade where you are legally allowed to get married. You solve all the puzzles with your chains, and no cool other items. The main goal in every dungeon is to destroy the chains that are locking up the master door, where a guardian awaits for you to kill him. Or them killing you, pick whatever you want. We are all bound by chains sometimes, don't let them drag you down too much. Try your hardest to break free from them. Just like how you will do it in the game with your own chain, the main gadget of the game. It will do many things for you. It's hard not to make any kinky jokes about chains and I will try my best to keep it down in the video, for the most part. So instead of saying something naughty, I will say something sad because the game will remind you of Shadow of the Colossus to a certain degree. You will soon know why. First, I have to tell you what I love about the game's level design because at many points you can see the chains throughout the tower, always giving you a little glimpse of where you have been and haven't been. In some towers you won't have any trouble getting through, but some can get a bit complex where it makes you wonder where's the door to the last damn chain. So it's neat when you see it somewhere else in the dungeon and try to follow it. That makes it sound easy, but you can't just follow them in a straight path. It just gives you a general direction if you feel lost. I feel lost in life. Sometimes you will wonder, oh hell, oh no, where do I have to go? My time is running low. It does have some pretty tense moments like that, but overall it only happened rarely to me where I was close to losing all my time, mostly because I'm a total pussy and don't mind running out of the dungeons even when my timer is still half full to refill it. You could see this as something bad and see this as some kind of backtracking, but there's many shortcuts and it makes you learn the layouts of the towers more, so it's not all bad. Just look at how many people complain about the One-Backs and Silk Song when I had no issues with them. It's up to you if you like it or not. There's also an item where you can instantly teleport back to your wifey, but those are fairly rare. Time for the third meter. This is where you can see the power of your chain. The more you fill it up while pulling, the more damage it will do when you shake your Wiimote, and you will shake it a lot, but not in the waggle kind of way. You just need to pull on it once, no need to go crazy. I always hated how people think motion controls instantly meant waggling. Luckily we are past those times. You can also play the game with a classic controller, but after I have bitten mine into tiny pieces, I can't test it. I would rather play it with the Wiimote anyways because aiming is fun and sometimes swinging it around makes you feel like you're doing something good for your body. You can throw the chain at enemies and make their weapons drop. You can aim at their armor to make it break so you can deal damage to them. You can shoot with it. You can pick enemies up and swing them around. You can pick them up and smash them against the wall and hope they explode into tiny bloody pieces. You can also chain things together or just one enemy by itself so they can't do anything while you hit them. Makes you feel a bit sad for them though. Over the course of the game the chain grows more and more powerful and enemies you couldn't smash around at the start become smashable. Sadly they're not hot enough for the other meaning whenever you level it up by beating a boss. You can also level up normally, but this only increases the stats of your health, damage and defense, the typical stuff. After killing an enemy you can also get a chance to whip the monsters for their loot. So for example, if an enemy has an armor on their arm and you pick that when doing the finishing blow, you will get some metal item out of it. If you hit their naked skin, you get their flesh. So make sure to aim at them if you want something specific. I want to be chained up. The normal combat is, well, normal, just like me. You can spam the A button to do normal combos with or hold it to unleash a strong attack that also makes enemies stagger, so it's pretty strong when you fight slow enemies, so they basically never have a chance to attack you. Both the chain and the normal weapon sadly miss a bit of combo potential. There are no cool moves where you can throw an enemy up into the air with the chain and then chain it into a combo where you do a special move with the sword right after with its own little animation or things like that. But the game does not want to be a Devil May Cry kind of game, so it's a bit silly to expect that from it. You gotta play the old God of War games if you wanna have some smooth chain combat. It's another point where you feel like you're playing old school Zelda, just hitting one button to slash your foes up with. If we ignore all the cool moves from Twilight Princess and the motion controls of SS. Not the best nickname to use for that game as a German, I guess. You can also find different weapons, but they don't change the way you play the game. The sword is like a sword, the twin blades attack faster, that kind of stuff. One thing it has in common with modern Zelda is the low enemy variety though. At this point I'm too committed to the Zelda comparison bit, so I can't stop because it's easy enough to find similarities, for better or worse. So towards the end you will kind of think, do I just ignore these enemies and run past? But people also do that in games where people think they got good combat, like in Souls games. Maybe that's our inner pacifist telling us we shouldn't fight, even in video games. In the towers you can also find writings that you can sell to the old lady for a bunch of cash. It's neat how it sometimes gives you specific hints about enemies or just the tower itself. Like how these stones have special powers and can heal themselves up in no time. So it's an endless stone, kinda. Even though you have to break the stone to get more stone. I wish we had a stone like this in America so Americans can finally build houses where you can't punch holes into the walls. One other text tells you about how the Minotaur enemies change the way they fight depending on the time of day. You might think it's only a little bit of flavor text, but no, when you go here at night they really do fight on their legs instead. It's the little things. They didn't have to make them also fight on their feet, but they did. Because I think the people working on it had a foot fetish to a certain degree with how often you can see Elena's feet. Or they give you a lot of background information about the lore of the game, like how there was a big war and they're gearing up for another one, and that's why they created the Guardians in the past to use them for war. And now they made new ones also for war. Because mankind never learns their lesson. Why be nice to each other if you can just kill each other? It's pretty interesting, and it's a bit sad that all of that takes a bit of a backseat since it's not the main focus of the story and it's all about Aaron's and Elena's story mostly, and you never see anyone else. It's all about their love. That's what the massive abyss stands for too, where the towers are built on top of, because holes and stuff, that means love. These notes also spoil you the weakness of each guardian and give you some information about them, so if you pick one of those up, skip through it and then maybe read it after you beaten a boss. Even though the weaknesses are often very obvious anyway, so it's not like it's a big spoiler, unlike the ones I put onto my cars in Underground 2 and 1. One of the rare racing games I love despite not caring about cars. It's like getting mad at someone telling you how to beat a Zelda or Mario boss. There's no need to be angry. Oh, I have to jump onto the head? No, I will get mad and time you out for backseating me. I am so full of anger, I would have never found that out. Only be angry at yourself if you can't spot their weakness yourself. The bosses all have their own little gimmick just like the towers, except for the tutorial boss here, he's just walking around. That's why I brought up Shadow of the Colossus. I felt a bit bad for him. He's minding his own business, but you have to do it for your girlfriend. Sounds pretty familiar. Sadly for him, he wears his weak spot on his head, so it's not like he can blame me for attacking him. You don't hurt them with normal weapons, but instead have to pull their life out of them with your chains. Sometimes it's quite obvious what to do, but a few of them made me think, is this how I'm supposed to do it? For example, old Iron King made me think, am I doing this right? You have to unfire his body, and I thought the walks at the ceiling are there for you to chain him together with, to do that with, but it's way easier to just pull on his hot body yourself. The walks are only there to escape one of his attacks. I think my way of trying to beat him was way cooler. Or this giant enemy crab that actually existed in ancient Japan, where you have to hit its weak spot for massive damage. Even though it's more like a scorpion. Hit the legs to make them grabbable like some soft thighs and then get onto its tail. I really wanted to call it something else, but that will make me sound immature, to land on its back. The thing is, you can stun the enemy to make this way easier for normal people when you deal enough damage with your normal weapon or uncrack all legs. But I did not know how to get up on it while it's stunned. I couldn't find the right way to climb it up while it was stunned. I knew I was doing it wrong, but hey, I'm a stubborn person, I will do things my way. You have probably already seen it in the gameplay I used in the background, but all dungeons have their own little theme to it, like forest, fire, water. I wonder what other game has those. I can't quite think of it right now. The forest dungeon makes you chain a flower to something so it can escape, and when you kill it, it makes the damn roses disappear so you can continue. In the earth dungeon, you make your own path by throwing these rocks onto the walls to hang onto, and so on. Just like the bosses, they got their own gimmick. What if I tell you that all of these towers were mostly tutorial towers? Because after the first few, you suddenly unlock all the others. No, it's more like Breath of the Wild, you can pick what dungeon you want to tackle next. But just like the modern Zelda games, they come with a bit of disappointment because they are kinda the same as before, just longer and supposed to be harder. Does it make them worse? Not really, but it makes you a bit sad that you won't get to see new mechanics. Especially when you also see that the Wii used entire rooms. So while they have totally new wombs for 80% of them, you sometimes walk into one and think, oh, it's this womb. They were all built by the same architect, probably, so I will give it a pass. We all laze off at work sometimes. Except that I will hate on the guy who built the fire dungeons, because their idea of a shortcut is ladders, ladders, ladders everywhere. Here's one of the little nitpicks that annoyed me. You can't use the chain while you climb up a ladder. You have to stand still on the ladder to be able to climb it up like that with the chain. At first I thought they bit off a bit more than they could chew, because creating 12 unique towers is a pretty big task, and I thought they reused them because they went out of time, budget, those kind of things. But it was actually planned to be this way. They based them on a yin and yang theme, where the first towers are the male half, while the later ones are the female half. You can see that by the big statue in the first room too in every tower, where it's always a guy and then later it's a woman. So I respect them for going through with this. Like, if I never read this interview, I would have never understood what they meant by it. Maybe I'm just fucking stupid. Luckily, the game does actually get fresh towers again when you think you beat it. You really think they wouldn't pull out more out of their butts? It's how games should be. You think you have done it, but then nope, more game to play. Unless the game is dragging on, then it would be bad. Here it was still fun. And if you can count, unlike me, you would have noticed there would still be 2 towers missing. These 2 are special. The Dawn and Dusk towers are more like 2 towers for the price of 1. Instead of going into them one by one, you do kinda go into them one by one, but there's portals that will warp you into the other one since they're the same, but also not. Your path is blocked, no worries, use the portal to go to the other tower where it isn't and then teleport with another teleporter to go where you need to be. Sometimes you need to open a portal yourself with stones you find around the place, so if you use them wrongly, you could run out of them and need to kill enemies to get them as a drop. These towers also have the best boss in the game that shows you the power of love. What the whole game is about. What's better than being alone, having a partner? Unless you become a boomer and have to tell everyone how much you hate your wife, or how often you cheat on your husband, or you are as antisocial like me and can't see yourself in a relationship. This is the second boss that Dark Souls 2 has stolen because they can revive each other, so you have to make sure to kill both fairly quickly after each other. Not to full health though, at least. The power of love, again. Sometimes I get scared about that. What if I live by myself and have a seizure and just fall over? Nobody being there to help me. That's why it's okay to live with your parents, even if you're already over the age of 60. Obviously, now there will be some spoilers about the story and what ending I got, so if you care about those at this point still, you can close the video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Even after feeding her all the 12 master fleshies, she's still not totally cured, and is getting taken over by the curse who really wants to be connected to Aaron to cuck Elena. Normally it's the guy getting cucked, isn't it? So you get a whole final boss fight where you smash the other woman who was the woman in the flashbacks from Elena's dreams who sadly lost her kid, and then also screwed over her husband because she signed up for the experiments to become this, a failure. So she needs another man for some reason and Aaron fits the bill, or maybe she just likes handsome anime twins. You know what they say, a woman's worst enemy is another woman, or something like that. Imagine having to deal with them fighting all day. What a nightmare. This is why I don't date, totally no other reasons. I think this form is hot though, so I would take the risk. She's a fun boss fight, but one thing about her fight sucks. Look at this attack. Why are these pillars so transparent? Maybe that's also a depth perception thing, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting blind too, old age sucks, I'm getting senile. They made me think I'm in front of them or behind them when I wasn't, and it barely gave me time to charge my chain to do much damage with. You will just spam the dodge button and hope for the best. Aside from that, it's fun because it's the kind of boss fight that uses attacks from the other bosses, so you gotta be on your toes. I love toes. Just like the guys behind the game since you saw Lena's feet so much. I hate feet though. Nobody will ever know the truth now. And maybe this boss is a bit too tanky, but it's fine. Because she's hot. And the more time you take, the more you can look at her. I got the second best ending, and I have to say I like this one the most after reading and watching up on the others. The best ending is too happy for me. It's like everything suddenly is perfect, nothing in the world sucks anymore, but in my ending they both still loved each other and sacrificed themselves to close up the scar to save the world. With nobody else knowing who did it except for the old woman and her husband, yep, that thing on her back the whole time was her husband, who kept telling it to her own tribe who knew the truth then. With the wars and all that still ongoing. While in the best ending, even that is finished. They just said, yep, no more war I guess. It will happen eventually anyways, we all know how that story goes. Since the game itself just kept saying we will always destroy ourselves, regardless of how often we did it before. They're not totally wrong with that, aren't they? I hope I won't be alive for World War III. The biggest disappointment was the bad ending, where you just let her transform because you didn't feed her any flesh because you don't even get to see her. Felt a bit cheap not to give her also a bastard monster form and only a real one for the final boss battle. She just shanks Aaron and becomes the queen of the monsters to rule over the land. Kinda cool but lame that you don't get to see it in-game wise. I would let her rule me, even though she would probably just kill me and eat me, which I'm not into that actually. In the end, it was a fun game, and despite reusing half of it kinda, it didn't make you feel that way. The dungeons are always around like an hour long or maybe a little bit more, so it's not like they overstay their welcome, unlike me when I get a visa for 90 days and disappear in a completely different country for the rest of my life. The game didn't manage to make me totally care for the characters because Aaron is too much of a self-insert who doesn't talk much and Elena is too nice for me. I prefer girls who shit-talk me. I don't want to be treated kindly. But I rooted for them. I wanted to see them happy, so the game did that job well. I know that sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but you know what I mean probably. There's also a post-game, and throughout the game you will see red locked doors you need a key for, but you can only buy those keys after you have beaten the game. The thing is, those rooms are just rooms with some items in them, nothing new to fight really. You get an extra weapon through them, but I don't really want to play a game just for one more weapon, do I? I wanted to include the whole story about Operation Rainfall, but every time you will watch the Xenoblade 1, the last story or Pandora's Tower video, you will hear about it. And at this point, everyone knows it. It was a petition made to bring over these games, mostly to America, and it grew fairly big and helped to bring them over. There you go, don't need more than that, right? People nowadays jerk off Reggie to hell and back, but leave out how many games you guys over there didn't get or weren't supposed to get thanks to him. Also, the box of it is neat because it's black and stands out. Normally only Wii games in Japan that got a high H rating were supposed to get this kind of case, but I guess for Europe they thought, hey, this looks cool, make it happen. Sorry for being German with those big ugly H ratings, it's not my fault. I also checked some of the other games they made, but then I saw they were mostly just making licensed games, some of them being pretty good like the Jump Fighting DS games. I wish we would get another one of those instead of, you know, the one we recently got, even though it's not even that recent anymore. Also, it was a throwback to my childhood because I actually had the first Grand Battle game for the PlayStation 1. It wasn't really good, but still, as a kid who loved One Piece, it was fun. With that said, I hope you will have a good day, a good night or whatever fits your time zone, and now I will go eat something I guess. Maybe a Mettbrötchen if I'm recording this in the morning because it's mostly a breakfast thing. Or maybe I will just eat some soup or pizza or whatever, but I won't eat any human flesh, that's for sure. Probably, trust me, please. Don't do it too because sadly it's a crime even if the other person gives their consent. Which is weird because that means I don't have full control over my body. Why am I not allowed to tell people that they could maybe take a bite of me? Bye bye.